This is Hino to Sport, bringing you that heat and that fire. All right, y'all. Anthony Joshua is on a 5-5, a 5-5. I'm going to say it again, a 5-5. I can't even get this shit out. A 5-fight plan to duck Deontay Wilder like the plague. This man about to fight some damn Armenian sumo wrestlers. He about to fight some Lithuanian volleyball players. That's who he's going to fucking fight. Because I told you guys, man, this is why I was torn between that fucking fight. I knew Anthony Joshua was going to win the rematch because I understand the politics of boxing. I understand how boxing works in its most corrupt form. There was no way this Pillsbury Doughboy was going to win the rematch. No fucking way. This table was staged and the tables were set for AJ redemption. Let me say it again. The tables were set and the tables were staged for AJ redemption. Now look at this. They're comparing Anthony Joshua to fucking Muhammad Ali. Ain't this about the worst shit you've ever heard? First and foremost, when Muhammad Ali won back his titles, who did he win it back? Wasn't it Joe Frazier? Isn't Joe Frazier a legend? How the fuck does Andy Ruiz compare to Joe Frazier? See, y'all gotta let that sink in. That's that brain full of mush and brainwashed dodo headisms that Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua sitting there spewing down your damn mouth. And then at the end of the fight, Anthony Joshua got a fucking cheerleading group that's jumping all over the place saying, yay, he won. Because you know what happened? And this is the brain full of mush and the brainwashed dodo headisms of the UK fans. They had to reenact the AJ Devo. You didn't see him? He had his hands crossed and he was going like this. That means AJ Humble is formerly not known as AJ Humble, now known as AJ Devo. He's back. The celestial being, that is. The AJ celestial being has returned. This is the guy that sits here and shakes his UK fans' hands. You know why I call him AJ celestial being? Because he would shake his own fan base's hands. And then he would turn around and wipe his hands on the back of his bodyguard. Let me say it again. He will wipe his hands on the back of his bodyguard. He don't even trust y'all motherfuckers' hands because he don't know where y'all hands been. That's why I call him a celestial being. That's why I call him AJ Devo. Because he's a Devo at his truest and his most properest levels. All this bullshit he's telling you at the end of the fight, stay hungry, stay humble. Get the fuck out of here. Anyone that fell for that bullshit, unless you're just a AJ fanboy slurper, I could understand that. But if you're not, then you can put two and two together. Anthony Joshua winning these belts, he's not going to even utter the word Deontay Wilder until 3 years from now. Because Deontay Wilder already told you he's going to retire in 5 years. So that means Anthony Joshua is going to wait until Deontay Wilder is on the back end of the 5 years for him to actually utter his names. He wants to see Deontay Wilder slow down immensely before he even utter that name. He couldn't even utter at the end of the fight. Shout outs to, what's his name? Chris Mannix? Is that his fucking name? The one that was interviewing him? He was the only interviewer that actually mentioned the Deontay Wilder name. Eddie Hearn was like, oh, we don't want to talk about that right now. It's about celebration. No. Because boxing fans want to see if your ass is going to step up to the plate after you've lost. So there's no aura of undefeated anymore. You already lost. And you lost to Andy Ruiz, a guy that sat here and said, I party hard and I ate everything. I can't get past this shit. You can't make this shit up, though. Where they do that at? Who raised you, TK Kirkendall? Who raised you? This motherfucker turned around and said, I party hard and I ate everything. That's the motherfucker that Anthony Joshua lost to. This is why I told you guys, AJ is a hoax. And he's going to duck Deontay Wilder like the plague because anyone that has what we call boxing, common sense, anyone that's using what we call the true boxing eye test could tell that Deontay Wilder is going to pick apart Anthony Joshua. You know how you could tell that? Because first and foremost, he's chinny chin chin. We have 4 fights to give us data on that. The Dillian White fight, the Povetkin fight, Andy Ruiz fight, Vladimir Klitschko fight. Come on, man. We got data here. So could you imagine Deontay Wilder's left commitment power or his right super commitment power landing on Anthony Joshua. Because Deontay Wilder is a KO artist and a KO specialist. He will seek out the knockouts. He ain't no damn 42-0-1. This motherfucker's 43-0 because technically Tyson Fury was KO'd. All y'all got to do is go look at, they have a video, man, on YouTube. They showing that shit. Tyson Fury had 5-second reprieve. I said 13 seconds. This shit was 14. He had a 5-second reprieve and then 9-second count. 14 seconds to get up. The referee held on his whistle for 5 seconds and then he had a 9-second count. Where they do that at? This is the stuff that I'm talking about. So technically, Deontay Wilder is 43-0. You know Anthony Joshua don't want no parts of Deontay Wilder. So this 5-fight plan that they're doing is so that they could conveniently duck Deontay Wilder. And again, this is why I try to tell you guys, if you guys think boxing is, oh, let's just talk about boxing. Let's just keep it pugilistic. You're a dodo head. You're a brain full of mush and a brainwashed followers. Because the promoters, these fighters are not even doing this. They're throwing the politics at you left and right. So if you're going to think boxing, you have to think a three-headed monster here. You have to look at the politics of this shit. You have to look at the finances of this shit. And you have to look at the pugilistic side of it. Let me say it again. You have to look at the politics of this shit. You have to look at the finances of this shit. And you have to look at the pugilistic side. This is how you are a deep thinker out here in these boxing streets. Because if you're not talking in these three vernaculars, then you need to go sit down somewhere. So when you got motherfuckers telling you, oh, let's just keep it boxing. They're one-sided or one-trick ponies. Oh, let's just talk about the politics. One-sided, one-trick ponies. Oh, let's just talk about, you know what I'm saying, the finances. One-sided, one-trick pony. You got to talk about all three. Because all three are associated with your favorite fighters. They all have to deal with that. That's why they call it prize fighting. You think they just fight for a prize, which is a belt? They also fight for a prize, which is called money. Do you understand what's involved in money? It's called business transactions. That means shit has to happen between networks, promoters, and fighters. Let me say it again. Networks, promoters, and fighters. So you got to think in these three-pronged ways in order for you to be what's called a hybrid, highly thinking boxing fan. Otherwise, you're just a fucking casual if you're not thinking that way. Sorry, He Knows the Sport had to address the elephant in the room because He Knows the Sport always has to do this. Because I keep hearing this bullshit about, oh, let's just talk boxing. Then you're watching the wrong fucking sport because every sport deals with finances. Every sport deals with politics and every sport deals with the actual sport aspect of it. Then you shouldn't watch no fucking sport. You're dodo head. You're brain full of mush and you're brainwashed followers. And now you have Eddie Hearn, the new car salesman, a.k.a. the new shiesty motherfucker. The one that look like his ears is iron, old dusty looking motherfucker. This dude right here is going to ensure that Anthony Joshua avoids Deontay Wilder at all costs. And don't be surprised if there are amendments in this 5-fight plan. Trust and believe there's going to be speed bumps. Because Eddie Hearn done learned from the best, dog. He done learned from Barry Hearn. He learned how to be a snake and a weasel from that motherfucker. And they running a slave trading operation. So they're going to make sure that Anthony Joshua, because he has his AJ redemption story, is going to be that horse that they could ride. And they're not going to let that motherfucker rest. They're going to keep running his ass the way they've been running him. Because what do you do to a horse? You ride that motherfucker until the wheels fall off and you get a brand new horse again. Because guess what? In the stable, you got a new horse that's drinking mother's milk and is ready to be breaded again. That's how they do it. It's a joke. Look at Dillian White, 271 fucking pounds. You could tell he was weaning off of that fucking steroids or whatever the performance enhancement drug he was. How he went from being somewhat chiseled to all the way fat, slow, and looking lethargic. Y'all do the math here, man. This is why they put that fight in Saudi Arabia, man. Because they knew that fat boy was going to weigh extra because they already had the data on his ass. And they made the ring bigger. Man, listen. The Zone done put up some bullshit after bullshit after bullshit. And y'all got to be some smarter boxing fans out here, man. Y'all can't be falling for this bullshit. Because He Knows the Sport don't fall for the bullshit. And those who rocks with He Knows the Sport and fucks with He Knows the Sport don't fall for the bullshit as well, too. This is He Knows the Sport. Checking out.